Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the channel. The Witchy Goth here. Hope you're doing well. What a weird day it has been weather-wise. It's been April showers today, and it's been a bit cooler. After I got up, had my breakfast, and then I went back to bed for a bit. I was really tired. So I went for my run at about 1 o'clock, and I managed to get between the showers. So I was really pleased with that. What's the weather been like where you are today? It's come over dark again, so I think it's probably going to rain and the wind started blowing. So get the crap weather over with, I say, during the week, because I've got my race next Saturday and would really like it to be not too hot, not too cold, just right, and no wind. Although I do like the wind, but it does make you slower. It does make you slower when you are running. So the hair's looking a bit thingy there. So how are you all doing? If you would like to join the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. Wait a minute, and then you will be able to join the chat. Please keep it nice and polite and friendly. I've got my moderators there this evening, I think. Yes, I have my moderators. So if you could all, just keep it polite and friendly, because my moderators are really good and they will eject anybody who is rude or aggressive. If you are watching, please hit the like button. Would be really great if you could do that. It just helps with the algorithm. And if you would like to support the channel monetarily, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee, which is in the link in the comment posted at the top of the chat. Subscribing and sharing is also a fantastic and massive way to help me with the algorithms of YouTube, because as you know, they can be very difficult at times. And I'm only, I think it's 12 away from 1,000 subscribers, and really, really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is the 25th of April. And I will be doing a special live stream on my birthday, probably at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is a Saturday. So I have no idea what sport's going on. So if you are a sport connoisseur, let me know. Because I don't, mind you, but I don't watch it. So it'll be after my run. So let's see who we have got in the chat today. We've got Billy. Afternoon, Badgers. Afternoon, Billy. Lovely to see you. Hi, Elle. Wonderful to see you. Hi, Chris C. Fabulous to see you. Hi, Draka. And Alexis, lovely to see you. Thank you, Chris, for letting me know that the sound is good and the vision is good. We had a couple of claps of thunder along with high winds, rain and hail. It is now sunny. Yeah, typical April weather, isn't it? My mum said to me today she wouldn't be surprised if it snows. Which is no black today. No, I wear red. There's black underneath. There's black underneath. But yeah, this is one of my favourite. It's a coat. It actually has so the buttons are fake. What is that? That's a fluff. Buttons are fake. It's got a zip, but I really love it. It's nice and long. It goes all the way down to the floor, so it's open from just below the waist, so it trails, and it's got laces at the back as well. It's sort of got a slit at the back. The march is on my birthday, Mel. Oh no. Well, you can always televise me on the march. Plug me into the big screen if you've got a big screen. Who else have we got? Doc Davies, lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. So we're a bit of a small group tonight, but that's okay. I don't mind. So, oh yeah, if any of you haven't seen the new Sir Larry video, The Defectives, have a watch. It's really funny. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I missed the premiere because I was running and showering, not at the same time. Run, then shower. But I have watched it and it's really funny. So if you do get a chance, it's not only funny, but it is, very well investigated. And yeah, highlights a few things about certain, ministers, MPs that perhaps we didn't know about. Right, so I thought I'd start, and I know this is probably going to be the last time. Yeah, that would be risky at the same time. Do they make waterproof thread mills? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, thank you for popping that up, Chris. Thank you for popping that up. I was going to ask you, but I know that you know by now to pop the links up. So yes, it's not a thick coat though, Mel. So it's just the one thing of material. So it's a summer one. It's a summer one. Probably for that one summer day in Scotland, to be honest, because I know it's a lot colder up there than it is here. So I'm going to play you the. Don't mind me, my brain is fried. That's okay. Mine is too. It is a Sunday. L, you daft bugger. Hi, David Jacobson. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. So, as you know, Artemis II splashed down on Friday. Well, it was Saturday morning, early Saturday morning here. I watched the whole thing. I know, I'm a geek. But I absolutely enjoyed it. It was exciting. They had pretty much a textbook splashdown. I've seen some daft comments as well. I'll get to them in a minute. But so it splashes down, and it's got two sets of parachutes. The first set that slow it down slightly, and they fly off, and then the next set come out, which really slowed it down quite well. And then it has 5 helium balloons, sorry, at the top. Is it helium? Yeah, helium balloons at the top to keep it so it doesn't sink. And then the Navy go and put a flotation device around it so it connects onto the side. It's like a ledge. Then they put what they call a porch, which looks like a pentagon-shaped dinghy. And they go in, a doctor goes into the capsule to check that they're all okay, and then they bring them out one by one. And then the helicopter took them to the ship. They sat in the helicopter waiting for a while, and then they were escorted one by one off of the helicopters into the medical bay. Obviously, after that, you didn't see anything else. So that's when I stopped watching. But they all looked well. And some people were saying things along the lines of, they managed to walk from the helicopter. They were only in space for 10 days. There was an exercise machine on the Orion capsule, which they named Integrity. So there's like the 3 names. There's the Artemis II mission, there's the Orion capsule, and then they named the capsule Integrity, which symbolizes the unity and togetherness of everybody and everything and so on. And so, yeah, people were saying, oh, but they, walked. They'd only been in space for 10 days. Why were there no 5 o'clock shadow and beards? Because they had toiletries in space. Things have, progressed since the days of yore. And you can actually go and find on NASA website pictures of them washing their hair in zero gravity at the space station. If you do ever get a chance to look at the footage, the actual Orion unit, there was a lot of stuff that was stowed that they were using. They would take it out and put it back. So, everything was kept in specific places. They were taught how to do that. And they were, it just amazes me that people think it was fake. There is actually a fake picture going around on the internet, which has actually been debunked by Full Fact. It shows Earth captured from the window of the Orion spacecraft during the Artemis II mission. It isn't. Check the ones on the official NASA site. It isn't the actual pictures. The window is different. You'll see it looks like the window's falling to pieces, but you'll see if you look at the original NASA stuff, you will actually see that, it's not. So it's a fake one. And apparently it's got an AI watermark on it somewhere. So it was done by AI generated. But yeah, Chrissy, should have been front page news, but no, Trump has to hog the front pages. Absolutely agree. you're a bit pissed off with America. Yeah, I am too. But I must admit, the space stuff to me is like, it just blows my mind. It really does. If I could have been an astronaut, I would have been an astronaut. He should have been in a dinghy at the splash point directly in it, and he would have been front page and shark food. Chrissy says they didn't exactly walk normally, though. They had to be helped. Are people that stupid? People are that stupid, Chrissy. Unfortunately, these people think that it's all fake. When I was watching the splashdown, they actually had comments that on a lot of the footage, they didn't have comments, that you weren't allowed to comment. But on the splashdown, you were, and people going fake, fake, fake. And it's like, no, it's actually not fake. Yeah, I'm so ticked off with America, with everything the Orange Man toddler is doing. The Americans need to rise up and oust him. Absolutely. Hi, Joe. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. So what I thought I would do is start with, because some of you may not have seen it, last night, the four crew members were flown back to the Johnson space station in Kennedy Center, and there was a whole reception for them, and they actually each member gave a little speech. Now, I'm not going to play with all the speeches from all of the other people that were there, because there were a lot of waffle going on. So I'm just going to play you the 4 speeches from the 4 crew members. So hopefully you will be able to hear this. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Of course, Firefox is not responding. It is. Okay, so these are the crew members. So they're sitting on a stage. They've each got their microphones, and the little mascot is with them as well, which is the Joy Moon Rising, I think. You watched the splashdown live with Garen. I saw that he'd done that as well, but I wanted to watch the NASA one, just wanted to get all the footage and everything. So for me, it's like when I watch PMQs. No offense to those who do stream PMQs and commentate on it. It's great. For me, I want to sit and watch it myself. That's my thing. I want to have my own thoughts. Right, so here we go. Do we? Buffering. Hi, person impersonator.
Yeah, let's sing real quick. 3, 2, 1.
They were syncing their watches. It's something that they were doing.
So we wear these Acta watches that if you hit this button, the red light lights up.
Can you all hear?
Tells you got a good battery. And I don't know why, but for the last 2 years when we wear these, hey Hopper, for the last 2 years when we wear these things, it just kind of brings us back into focus whenever we get a little distracted. So we did a lot of syncing when we were on this mission for no reason whatsoever. I have absolutely no idea what to say. This is 24 hours ago, the Earth was that big out the window and we were doing Mach 39, and here we are back in Ellington at home.
Three million people watching on the launch day. 17 million were on the NASA stream. 17 million. So there weren't as many for the splashdown, but it was 17 million. I was like, wow. Yeah. I must say the sound where they are having this conference thing is not that great. So I'm sorry if you can't hear this. I did want to link all of these before I went live, but you know me. Not very good with that stuff.
Every one of us are just going to give a couple of words, but I get the mic first, so I'm going to start. Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, we are bonded forever, and no one down here is ever going to know what the 4 of us just went through, and it was the most special thing that will ever happen in my life. And our families are over here, and with the exception of Dot, Susie, and Jeannie, who are in the audience, but I don't know where they are. But Dot, I'm going to hit McDonald's later today in honor of your husband. No one knows what the families went through, man. This was not easy. Being 200,000 plus miles away from home, like before you launch, it feels like it's the greatest dream on earth. And when you're out there, you just want to get back to your families and your friends. It's a special thing to be a human, and it's a special thing to be on planet Earth. Thank you.
Every time they all get up and hug each other after they've said these words, they've obviously got this really strong bond between them that they built up over the years of training, because this wasn't just something that, okay, you're going to go into space now. They trained, for 2 years with this entire thing in many different things. They even went to Iceland. One of the geologists took them to Iceland so they could recognize different types of rocks with the different environments. Obviously, they didn't land on the moon, but they could see, from a distance what the surface looked like. So they had massive, massive training. David, yes, the service module was built by the ESA, the European Space Agency, not 100% American. No, it's not. There are a lot of different parts that were from different countries. A lot of different people had, a part in it, which is brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Being respectful, I could not care about this mission. It's littered with US propaganda. I just stuck to the scientific aspect, observing and ignoring the reports and interviews. We all have, our decisions, but don't forget that the government has defunded NASA. They've taken a lot of money away. So, they have got Artemis 3 and 4. Artemis 3 is built. It just needs to be assembled. And they're hoping to release, to do Artemis 3 and 4 next year. 3 will be practicing docking with the International Space Station. And 4, I believe, will be landing on the moon. So, yeah. And Chris, you've just said it looks like the Artemis crew are set to shun Trump's invitation for them to visit the White House. Might have something to do with him slashing NASA's budget. Exactly. When during the week, I cannot remember which day it was of the mission, but there was a call from Trump live to the craft, and they were all just like, well, they weren't stood, obviously, they were floating in the capsule. And Trump said something and none of them answered. They all just pretended that there was no sound and they couldn't hear anything. And then it must have been a couple of minutes. And then he said, NASA, Houston, have we got, is there anybody there? And Trump says, yes, I'm here. So I don't think they will be wanting to go to the White House to see Trump. I don't think any of them like him. Who can blame them? None of us like him. Person in Perta, it was, however, one of the few positive world stories lately, something to inspire instead of something to depress. Yeah. And that's why I watched it. It's like last night, I didn't realize that they had the thing last night. So I wanted to watch a space movie. Like looking at, I've seen all of these. What am I going to do now? So I went to bed quite early, and then it came up on my notification that they were doing this last night. I'm like, oh, thank God, I get to see something at least. Zhao, I know the Witchy Goth. I respect science and progress. Reason why I recognize the importance of the mission, but no interviews or reactions, comments or whatever. Yeah. I thought SpaceX supposed to send a man to the moon. I prefer NASA to do it. Yeah, I don't think SpaceX will. Although SpaceX did launch a rocket yesterday that is going to the space station that docks this evening with supplies. So that's food and stuff. I sound like a right geek, don't I? But that is being televised tonight as well. Trumpty Dumpty has slashed NASA's budget by 23%, including a 46% cut for space science initiatives. SpaceX is supposed to have provided the lunar lander, yet they haven't. Yeah. Hail Mary is a pretty good watch. Okay. What channel is it on? I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere. I did actually watch a good movie last night. Well, it was good. It wasn't brilliant. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. was it The House of Dynamite? It's on Netflix, and it's got Idris Elba in, but he's not in it for very long, to be honest. I'm lost in space. I do like Lost in Space. But yeah, all the ones that were coming up on Netflix, I had seen Ad Astra, Oxygen, all of those. I'd seen all of them. So I'm like, okay. Sci-fi film with Ryan Gosling. Oh, then I have seen it. I have seen it. I must have seen it. Because, yeah. Ryan Gosling. Must have seen it. So anyway, House of Dynamite, it's not bad, but the spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to put your fingers in your ears and la 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 la. The ending did not show what I wanted it to show. It is about a nuclear weapons launch by another country to the States. So I will leave it there, but the ending didn't show the bit that I wanted it to show. So I was a little bit upset about that. I wanted to see the destruction, but you know. Indy, we get you. We get you. You're lost in space. We get you. We get you. It's a good movie and it's a good series as well. I did enjoy the series. SpaceX is Musk's company, so it overpromises and underdelivers. Of course it does. Of course it does. And every ship that he does looks like a penis. Even the one that was launching yesterday, I'm like, the man has obviously got this, you know, small penis syndrome. Anyway, carry on with the speeches. It's just the crew. I'm not playing any of the other speeches that were given, just the crew speeches.
The only person who can follow that up is Victor Glover, so let's go.
And now we're ready for questions. I'm going to keep it brief because I'm afraid to start talking. I have not processed what we just did, and I'm afraid to start even trying. When this started on April 3rd, I wanted to thank God in public, and I want to thank God again, because even bigger than my challenge trying to describe what we went through, the gratitude of seeing what we saw, doing what we did, and being with who I was with, it's too big to just be in one body. And I wanted to thank our families for everything that he just said. So great words, great words, great words. I love you, but not just those 5 beautiful cocoa skin ladies right there. All of you. And I wanted to thank our leadership. And it's changed since we were here in April of 2023, but the qualities haven't. And we are fortunate to be in this agency at this time together. And so I'm going to sit down. Thank you also to our air operations for this facility and for our ride home from San Diego. And I love you. Thank you.
So the families are all in the audience, and on the other side of the audience, there's all of the potential astronauts for the coming mission. So they haven't announced who the astronauts are going to be yet for the next mission. Mel, why are you deleting your messages? I know what you said, and I love you. I think it's Mars that Elon has sights on. He keeps mentioning Mars. David, I mean, you know that he's a misogynist and he's a ketamine addict. I think that we haven't heard about him very much recently, have we, since he's no longer in the White House? But I think that I don't think that's going to happen. You know, NASA have already got these next few spaceships, rockets in the works. They're already being built. So Yeah, because the engines on the SpaceX ones are the Merlins, which I think aren't the Merlin ones a British make of engine, if I'm correct. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, and like Person says, he said he was going to go to the moon first. Yeah, I don't think that, you know, that will happen. There's so much testing that needs to be done and so much work that needs to be done to make sure that the astronauts reach there all at one time. I mean, I was reading about why the Apollo missions were stopped. I think 17 was the last one. And they were stopped because they wanted to see how people survived in space for long periods of time, which was when MIR was put in place and then ISS put in place. So astronauts were being monitored, and it's been 25 years that we've had the space station. I can't believe it. You know, I think to myself, my God, it seems like yesterday. So they've been doing all the experiments on there to see how it affects people, you know, living in zero gravity affects people, because obviously they are going to want to build a thingy on Mars, on the moon. And then from there, they want to be able to travel to Mars. So that is the ultimate goal. I hope that I get to see that happen. I really do. I really would like to see that happen. I'm surprised we haven't tried to create artificial gravity yet. It must be possible with centrifugal force. David, I think they do have artificial gravity at NASA so that they can do the exercises. I think. Forgive me if I'm wrong. You're monitoring the Hungarian elections. No problem, Joe. Keep us updated if any counts start coming in, and you know, so we know. Hopefully, he will lose. Musk has grown a mustache in the attempt to look hip. Yeah, what is it with mustaches now? I've noticed a lot of people wearing mustaches. I've never been a fan of mustaches. Beards, I love beards, but a mustache on its own, I don't know. It's 70s, you know, porn star vibe that I get from it. Everything would have to be insulated from the outside environment. Yeah, the colonization of Mars is harder than colonizing the moon or even space itself. Mars is a nightmare world. You get decomposed by radiation to a cellular level and frozen at the same time. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, you know, getting equipment up to the moon to build a base, you know, IKEA may have a lot to do with it, you know, send flat packs up. Just, you know, how do you get those things up to there, the size of the rockets and things that are going to need to be shipped? You know, would you need to have another space station further along, closer to the moon? There's a whole load of logistics that are involved in that. So far, elections give the non-Orban a 19% advantage. Good, let's keep our fingers crossed. I'm not looking it up. I don't want that on browser history. Okay. What's that? What we're not looking up? I've missed something because I'm on top chat instead of bloody live chat. You know, every bloody time. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I've lost something here. So I bet it looks awful. Yeah, I'm not looking it up either. I don't, yeah. Mustache looked good on Tom Selleck. My sister was a fan of Tom Selleck. I was never a fan of Tom Selleck. He wasn't my cup of tea. We can create modules and send them to the moon, and from there create logistics and production using the moon itself to mine what we need. Thank you, Zhao. Thank you. Brilliant. So, okay, we'll go to Christina's little speech now.
Reed just said it was a setup for us who had to follow him. That's true. I couldn't sleep this morning, so I did write some words down in my mind, and I'm going to try and share them with you today. 10 days ago,
Tissues ready.
This journey started with our mission manager, Sean Duvall, knocking on my door in crew quarters and whispering, "Christina, we're go for launch. Get up." And it ended last night when my nurse on the ship put me to bed and said, "Ma'am, can I get a hug?" So a lot has happened since then, but or between those two moments, but the start and the end were human moments here on Earth. So several years ago, I was giving a speech and I was doing my usual talk about crew and crewmates and teamwork. And someone asked the question, what makes a crew? What is different about a crew than a team? And I was like, I got this. Opened my mouth confidently to tell them everything I knew about being a crewmate. And everything that came out of my mouth was completely without value. I was like, yeah, crews, they're in space and they work together, but they eat together too. So, they're a crew. And boats have crews. You're a crew if you're on a boat. Helps if you have a paddle. That'll be good. That'll make you a crew. But the last 10 days, I've gotten a little bit of a better answer on that question. A crew is people or, a group that is in it all the time, no matter what, that is stroking together every minute with the same purpose, that is willing to sacrifice silently for each other, that gives grace, that holds accountable. A crew has the same cares and the same needs. And a crew is inescapably, beautifully, dutifully linked. So when we saw Tiny Earth, people asked our crew what impressions we had. And honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth, it was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Lots of emotions.
So,
Hi, Sarah.
I may have not learned, I know I haven't learned everything that this journey has yet to teach me. But there's one new thing I know, and that is planet Earth, you are a crew. Yeah. Thank you.
I think that, that experience for them going into space and seeing the Earth so far away, just there in this blackness, it's hard to imagine, isn't it, to be so far away from the Earth. But it does put life into perspective. It really does put life into perspective. It's like, this might be a little bit of a strange analogy to use, but a bit of a depressing one to use. But when we lose a loved one, somebody that's close to us, it puts life into perspective. And while NASA and scientists are doing things like this to better mankind, you then have idiots, orange people like Trump, who are just trying to, line their pockets, fleece the poor, and rule the world. And that's the two, the opposing sides of things. And when you look at the 4 astronauts and what they did, you know, getting onto a rocket that may not come back, you know, anything could have gone wrong, but they decided to get onto that rocket. They decided to do that journey, you know, yeah, for themselves. I mean, you know, if you want to be an astronaut, you've got to, you know, start training for it early in life. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff that you have to do, but, you know, risking everything for the betterment of mankind. I mean, for me, I would go. I would go. If I was asked to go, I'd go. I'd be like, yeah, I'll go. Give me the training, tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. And if I didn't come back, it wouldn't bother me at all. Yes, I love this Earth and I love this planet, but I do think that to have an opportunity like that, to go into space and to see the universe, would be amazing. There were a lot of questions as well that I saw on the feed when at the takeoff, was people were saying, why can't you see the stars? Because we see the stars through the Earth's atmosphere. When you're in space, it's not a science fiction movie, so it's just black. However, and the sun shines so brightly in space that you can't see. Like, we've got the atmosphere here that protects us from that brightness of the sun. But when they were on the other side of the moon, they did take some photos of the Milky Way, and they are pretty amazing. So if you get a chance, have a look at them. Excuse me, they are worth having a good look at. A lifeboat is a good description. Yeah, it is, David, definitely. I know people like Trump, I call people like Trump a waste of genetic material. Absolutely. Trump is a pedo, so he doesn't think about victims or about others. No, he doesn't. He's a complete narcissist. He is a narcissist. He cares for nothing and nobody but himself. That is it. He does not care who he hurts or who he has to climb over to get to where he wants to be. That is a narcissistic trait. I think someone needs to promptly inform Trump, Hegseth, Netanyahu, and the rest of the idiots that we all live on this planet and we should all be making a better place for the next generation. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is something I think about a lot, and that's why I swapped to the Green Party, and I'm a Green Party member. You know, for me, it makes sense to want to save the planet, you know, even if we can only do it in little increments, because that's all we can do. You know, I don't know if you guys have had your new bins yet, your little caddies. Mine's brown. I don't know about your area, that you can put your sort of vegetable waste in and your meat waste and everything into, that will be going off to be composted, which I think is brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant that they're doing that, because not everybody has a garden, not everybody composts. I used to have a compost in my old house. I didn't build one here, and covered it with carpet, and the cats used to lay on it because obviously it used to get so warm, and we'd turn it, and mice lived in it as well. Not that that bothered me, it kept them out of the house, but you know, every single little thing we do has an effect on the planet. And I know that it's hard to change our lifestyles for these things. It really is hard. But I think if we can take stock of what we do and try to cut out waste, try to cut out, you know, doing things unnecessarily, like me driving. I hardly drive. I hardly drive. Can't afford the petrol, for one thing. But the other thing is, I'm lucky that everything's close by to me, but also I get stuff delivered because I'm not a person who mixes well with people. So I get my shopping delivered. Yes, there is a slight cost to it, but, you know, that cost is the cost that I would have spent on petrol. Ed Miliband takes it very seriously. He was Labour leader when I lived in the UK and I liked him. Yeah, unfortunately, it was him eating a bacon sandwich that screwed him over, which is stupid. You know, it's absolutely stupid. Boris Johnson looked like a dickhead all the time. And yeah, 20 minutes to recover from that meltdown. Oh, Mel. I'm giving you a hug. Giving you a hug. Trump has announced that the US Navy is set to blockade the Strait of Hormuz, saying the US doesn't need the strait for its oil. What a vile, selfish little man he is. He is. David Cameron had the whole pig. Yeah, he did. He did. Which reminds me, if you haven't seen, just talking about Tories, if you haven't seen the new So Larry the Cat Defectives, go watch it. It's really good. Not now. Not now, when I've finished. So if you are watching, give us a like, please, guys. And if you do want to support the channel monetarily, you can click on the link in the comment that's attached at the top of the chat to buy me a coffee. Also, share and subscribe. That does help as well. I'm going to play the last of the speeches from the last astronaut. He's the Canadian astronaut. Mark Carney actually did speak to them, and they really responded well to Mark Carney as well. You know, I think they'd be more interested in going to Canada than they would to the White House.
Well, it's been a lot. This isn't helping. But this is the furthest I've been away from Reed in a long time. Thank you. No, that's good. Thank you.
Reed's just gone up to Jeremy and sat in his chair, and he's holding his leg because obviously in the space station, not the space station, sorry, in the Orion capsule, they were all like basically having to maneuver around each other. It was quite a, when you watch them working, if you do get a chance to see some of the footage, the live footage that was obviously, it's really interesting to see how they managed to synchronize around each other. Quite interesting. Yeah. It's like chefs in a kitchen.
Thank you. I think what I'd like to share today is maybe 3 of the human experiences for us. And you haven't heard us talk a lot about the science, the things we've learned, and that's because they're there and they're incredible. But it's the human experience that is extraordinary for us. And it sounds like maybe for you too. And so I think I'll start with gratitude. Gratitude for my family, gratitude for NASA, for its leadership, gratitude for Canadian Space Agency, gratitude pour les Canadiennes et les Canadiens. Et j'ai hâte de pouvoir revenir avec Reed, Christina, Victor au Canada. Gratitude for the bravery and the courage for the teams to be no-go when we were no-go and go when we were go. That took a lot. And I don't think people will really ever fully comprehend how well supported and trained we were. It is almost unbelievable. As my daughter would say, I'll try and stay locked in here. Okay. The next one is joy. We have a term in our crew that we coined a long time ago, the joy train. And I think you saw, sounds like you saw a lot of joy up there. There was a lot of joy. We're not always on the joy train, this crew. There are many times we're not on the joy train, but we are committed to getting back on the joy train as soon as we can. And that is a useful life skill for any team trying to get something done. And the last one is, I need your help for this. Come on up here, guys.
They're having a group hug again.
The last one is love. What you saw was a group of people who loved contributing, having meaningful contribution, and extracting joy out of that. And what we've been hearing is that was something special for you to witness. And the reason I had them form up here with me is because I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us. We are a mirror reflecting you. And if you like what you see, then just look a little deeper. This is you. Come on.
So that's it. That's their sort of portion of the speeches. The rest of it is all the speeches of all the directors and heads of departments and that sort of thing. I'm sorry that the sun is shining through. It's actually bouncing off of a window, and you can see an image of a bat on my cheek. It's because I've got Halloween decorations in the window and they're bats. So I don't know if you can see that on my face. It's a bat. Let's have a look at the comments here. Sorry, guys. Hang on, just scrolling up because there's been a lot while I was... Okay. Mark Carney is what one expects from an American president. Exactly. He is. One of the comments is the USA has lost the war and cannot open the straits, so it's now up to the grown-ups, us, to negotiate with Iran. The US's influence in the area is all but null. They shouldn't have even done this, though, should they? They just decided that this... He decided. Opposite of people in the shopping centre. A lot of countries in the Gulf are silently trying to get rid of Americans and their bases. Trump is delusional. He has announced that the UK has agreed to send minesweepers to the Middle East. Number 10 has said no such thing has been discussed or agreed to. Yeah. Hi, Sir Larry. Lovely to see you. I have been telling people to go and watch your latest video. The Defectives, really, really good. I enjoyed it. I missed the premiere because I was running and showering, not at the same time. Obviously ran and then showered. But I did watch it while I was putting my makeup on. So, yeah. I have a feeling other leaders are ignoring him now. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. He already declared that NATO will be involved again. Will it? The Americans urgently need to find their backbones and remove him and his Heritage Foundation, Christian nationalist-backed government from power. Joe, I have no faith in them, to be honest. They might win the midterms, Democrats, but the world domination attempt is already lost to the mid-powers of China. Yeah. The US is collapsing as we speak, reminds me of the end of the USSR, absolutely. What I find most disturbing is Jared Kushner's involvement. There will be no peace with Jared involved. He is 100% behind Netanyahu and wants to build a resort over the ashes in Gaza. I've seen news that Harris is planning on running for president in 2028. If she does, then the Democrats will have effectively handed the election to the Republicans, which is a pity because I really liked her. I really did. I thought she was brilliant. And I would have voted for Kamala. I thought she was brilliant. Can you make them move Sheffield? It's nowhere near anywhere I'm going. I'm sorry, Indy. I'm sorry. They do move the roads in Sheffield all the time, though. Every time I go, I get lost. Found out yesterday that the only reason why Trump backed down from wiping Iran off the face of the earth is because he wasn't allowed to use nukes. Barrett Holmes has his work cut out of the next Defective. They are beyond special. Thank you, Sir Larry. Thank you. So, yeah, it is just this whole thing. I mean, you guys knew I was probably going to talk about Artemis II because it's probably the last time I'm going to be able to talk about it. Wait until 3. So I did actually find an article. It popped up on my feed. It's from the Mirror, I know, but it's, what's his name? What's his name? Brian Reed. And this article is called, I I know how to make America great again, get rid of deranged Trump. So this article was written yesterday. It was posted yesterday at 7 a.m. Donald Trump's narcissistic personality disorder is worsening, says Brian Reed. So America needs to act now because life is getting scary for all of us. And it's true. It is getting scary for all of us. That film that I watched last night that I told you about, House of Dynamite, it really does sort of bring home what's going on at the moment. So it's not a brilliant film, but it does sort of tell a tale that is very poignant to right now. Does the American astronauts' trip to the dark side of the moon at this point in time make them truly courageous? Because if my country were being run by a deranged psychopath, I too would want to get the furthest from Earth humans have ever been in order to hide my shame. I've always had a love-hate relationship with America. I love the egalitarian principles it was built on, its films, music and literature, and its people's optimism. But I hate how the rich and powerful flout their wealth and espouse a God-given belief that all other nations must bend to their will. Right now, it's a pity-contempt relationship. Pity for the millions who despised Trump and voted against him, and contempt for those who swallowed his divisive lies that he would make their lives great again when the only lies he cares about are his rich enablers and his own. His first term was mostly funny, as on a daily basis, he threw people around him under a truck, for not backing his lies or his cock-ups. Now, as he goes full batshit crazy, it's getting scary. This week alone, he went from talking to children as he stood next to an Easter bunny to telling a foreign power he has bombed without a mandate. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards. Followed by Tuesday will be power plant day, a kind of bring a nuke to school day. Oh, and then he threatened to wipe out an entire civilization, all because Iran's leaders are not following his script, which boils down to them surrendering and putting him in charge of their country, and more importantly, their oil. And I said right back at the beginning of this whole thing that it's to do with oil. Just like Venezuela, it's to do with oil. He wants Greenland because it's to do with the minerals there. Storing up for the future like a squirrel with his nuts. Yes, he's pulled back from the brink, but how long before his next wild threat to global stability, as his narcissistic personality disorder worsens and he needs to be center stage, not every day, but every hour. Imagine how dangerous this is going to get as his reign of terror nears its end and he is 82 years old. Remember, as president, he has sole responsibility over the launch codes to more than 5,000 nuclear weapons. Even if his brainwashed lackeys tried to stop him, he is vested with the power to key in those codes anyway. So unstable is he becoming that if he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, there's a good chance he would rationalize to himself that if he's going, he may as well take the rest of the world with him, as he couldn't bear to not be running it. If the semi-coherent leader of another country delivered rambling, expletive-ridden statements that abused his allies and threatened war crimes, America would claim a cast-iron case for removing that leader. It's time its people thought about doing so closer to home. More than 80 Democrats in Congress, along with high-profile ex-MAGA faithfuls like Marjorie Taylor Greene, have demanded the invoking of the 25th Amendment, which calls for the removal of a president deemed to be unfit for office. And he is unfit. We all see around the world, anybody with a brain knows it. It's becoming increasingly obvious that the country where a regime change would most benefit the majority of the world's citizens is the US. If the majority of American citizens really do want to make their country great again, they should see to it. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Yeah. The Americans are not, I see there's loads of comments here, so I apologize if I've missed anything important, guys. The Americans are not ready for a female president. Yeah, let alone a female president of color. Oh, they're not. No. It's far too much of a misogynistic country. It really is. You've got someone coming over, Elle. Have fun. The only reason why Trump backed down from wiping Iran off the face of the earth is because he wasn't allowed to use nuclear. Okay, I've read that. So yeah. Yeah, it's a pity because I really think that, you know, we do need more female leaders around the world. And I'm not saying this because I'm a woman, but women do have more compassion, generally speaking. Yes, there are female narcissists out there, but narcissists are mostly male. AI being used, I am sure, for flights. Search Glasgow to here, was told to pay £1,000 and go via 3 airports, or use my local know-how and take bus to Edinburgh and be home in 2 hours. That's bizarre. Thank you, Chris C, for holding the fort. I send love to Elle, and I will get round to reading the emails this week because I've got 2 days off running, which is Thursday and Friday because my race is on Saturday. So I will be at a loss as to what to do with myself. Sorry. Sorry, I'm just looking at something flickering, and it's actually the light from the candle flickering on something reflective. You'd think they weren't ready for the orange blob either, so anything can happen. Well, the thing is, you know, a lot of, and I am probably generalizing and probably painting boxes here and, you know, stereotyping people. But a lot of American men are very, very misogynistic, and believe that they should be in charge. You know, it is a very patriarchal country. It's very Christian, especially the South, you know, the Bible Belt. I've got a couple of friends who are witches who live down there, and they do not announce that they're witches at all. They don't. And it's you know, that is a different area. My son has finally got up. Let's hope he stops shouting to himself. It's been disturbing to be around. He was shouting until 7 a.m. all flipping night. Bloody hell. Is everything okay, person? I hope so. I hope so. Just seeing Mel's messages about travel there. Corporate Kamala, she lost the election by not listening to the voters, but listening to the donors and hanging around with neocons and Shanies. Yeah, she did. I mean, her slogan, "We're not going back," was brilliant. You know, Stevie Nicks' song "Lighthouse" was also released before the election as well, and I did play it, and I did talk about it. I did a review of the song, one of my older videos, you know, and we knew as women that the laws of termination would change because it had been talked about before Trump was elected. And then, of course, Roe v. Wade was overturned, and certain states, not all states, have illegalized terminations, and terminations have risen since that. There's a video by Dean Withers. I don't know if anybody follows him. He's really good. He's a brilliant debater, and it is about terminations. I'm going to play some of it tomorrow because he has them running around in circles. And just as I said in my video that I did recently, the simple solution, vasectomies, completely gets rid of the need for terminations. Oh, they wanted the orange blob. In fact, they practically dropped to their knees in front of him. Exactly. 38. Wow. Yeah, like Chris C says, look after your own mental health. A big news item that might have been missed is Anthropic's new Mythos AI model that is so powerful it's considered a risk for the world. Well, you know, these movies were made decades ago, weren't they? War games, you know. As has been said, that AI is now writing AI, getting rid of the need for coders, getting rid of the need for coding. The average reading age for Americans is 5th grade, 9 to 10 years old. Yeah. And, you know, you just have to watch some of the videos. Hello, Alistair. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Sorry, if I've missed some comments, I do apologize. I do apologize. Yeah, I've seen footage of them being asked questions and, you know, England is London. That's it. You know, no other town exists. I mean, I know, you know, from we see American movies, so we know what's going on, and, you know, and I read, obviously. Yeah, it astounds me how people, yeah, how they survive. It can find security issues and hack into banking websites. Bloody hell. Harris is very bright woman, competent, just not the ideal candidate. Yeah, because she's black. That's why. That's why. Even within white women communities, there is still some of that, you know, racism that is still within them. Joe, they can read. I remember studying Roe v. Wade and can't figure out how that could get overturned. Men want control of women's bodies. The Project 2025, which is the Heritage Foundation's plan, is that, and it talks about here as well, both Deform and Destore talk about it, in that the birth rate is falling for white people. Now, there are many reasons why it's falling. It's not just because people aren't having kids. But their claim is that we are being taken over by Muslims and other faiths and those of other ethnic origins. That's a whole other conversation. So what they want is for white people to procreate more, which is why they've stopped or banned terminations in some states. Yeah. Exactly, Mel. Mandatory at 15, then reverse when ready. And you can freeze a man's sperm. You know, so there is always that as well. Yeah, because the Republicans stacked the Supreme Court, yeah. But mostly they did it because they wanted to control women. That's it. They want women to have babies. They want to force women to have more babies. They blame feminism. Feminism, according to them, has gone too far. Kamala had it in the bag. Sorry, guys. That's gone. Where was that? Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, guys. I hate it when it does this. Kamala had it in the bag, steaming in 6 points ahead, promising to look at price gouging and housing, and then she goes campaigning with Cheney's, turned her back on the voters. Yeah. I once heard someone say, we only know the US has schools because of the school pew-pews. Yeah. 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 England is the UK to Americans. That's it. That's it. Yeah, they don't reckon. I mean, they know that Scotland exists and they know that Ireland exists, but I think they forget about Wales. I learned today that women's birth control is not considered to be a medical necessity. However, Viagra is classed as a medical necessity. Of course it is, because it's for men. Most medicine, it's only recently that they are now testing medication on women as well as on men. Medication has been tested for men, not for women. And of course, women's bodies are different. We have different hormone levels. So yeah, that is, you know, a fact that the vast majority of medications were put in place for men. And if you are a woman and you go to the doctor and you are in pain, if you see a man, they don't believe you. So many quick cases of endometriosis are missed, you know, by women going in and having very, very bad menstrual cycles. And they're just given a pill or this or that or the next thing and just told to get on with it. I heard someone say the UK, that's in London, right? Yeah. Kamala losing had very little to do with either her colour or sex. She turned her back on the voters, so they in turn turned their backs on her. Okay. Hi, Steve. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Everything is in London, so they might have a point. Well, no. No. The countryside isn't in London. Oh, it's done it again. White US population is decreasing because of poor living and work conditions, inbreeding, and not giving conditions for people to breed. Exactly, Joe. And that's exactly the same here in the United Kingdom. People cannot afford to have children. And then I saw fuckface Rupert Lowe talking about what was he talking about? Yeah, taking away benefits from the poor, and the two-child benefit cap should be kept in place. But then they want women to have children, but women and families can't afford to have children. And then you get the men, not all men, who don't want to get married and who don't want to pay maintenance and who bugger off. And the woman then has to look after the kids and sort out everything herself and go to court. And it can take ages at court. It really can take ages at court to get a man to pay maintenance. That's in the UK. I'm not talking about the States. I'm talking about here in the UK. So yeah, it is. It's all part of the Christian nationalist movement. They want to impose their brand of Christianity on the rest of the USA. Yeah. Kamala took the black vote for granted and paid the price for it. Trump was out there promising no more forever wars. Meanwhile, Kamala is on stage yucking it up with the Shanies. Yeah. And of course, Trump had every intention of being a forever war. One of the things we did right in South Africa is that we have 3 capitals, not one big capital. The house houses all functions of government and society. Yes, Pretoria and Cape Town, and I'm guessing Joburg would be the other one, or Blum. Seeing Trump's face every day is the ultimate contraceptive. Hello, Badger, lovely to see you. It's anxiety always. I've been doing some deep research into the Christian nationalist movement. It's very concerning. Yes, you sent that thing and I've still got it open. I will be watching that and looking at other areas around that as well. Because for me, being a witch, you know, they're the ones that burned us the last time and hanged us and drowned us. Witchy isn't in London, exactly, Indy. My better half and her daughter have both had dismissive attitudes from specialists about their pain issues. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I always insist on seeing a female doctor now. That's it. And you have a right to ask for that as well. When you speak to as ladies, you have a right to ask for a female doctor. Greed is stopping breeding, so we need to stop greed. Absolutely. Absolutely. To be fair, the southeast of England doesn't seem to think anything exists north of Oxfordshire. Did you see, though, that the Greens won in Kent? Got it on my phone. It was a Green win in Kent for a by-election there, which was absolutely wonderful news. Hang on. Absolutely wonderful news. Yeah, Greens 38.8%, Deform 33.1%, the Cons 15.2%, Labour 10.4%, Indies 1.3%, and Lib Dems 1.2%. That's Cliftonville, Kent County Council. So there's another by-election win for the Greens. So yeah, I really think that they have a good campaign. And Zach Polanski is a good leader, regardless of the whole hypnotherapy tits thing. They only want to remove welfare so they can reduce taxes for their wealthy friends. Exactly, Chris C. Exactly. And yeah. And they have convinced the minority of people, workers and the poor who are working, that benefit claimants are evil. I have to explain Lisbon, Porto and the Algarve are not all that exists in Portugal, and that outside of those areas we are another world. Exactly. I can't remember where my sister went when she was in Portugal, but she had a lovely time while she was there. I had the tax the wealthy properly argument with Pagan last night. He seems to think that Labour are targeting the wealthiest in the UK. Not sure I would agree. I think Polanski wants it to be the top. I think it's an extra percent he wants to charge them. I've actually got his launch speech ready up, but I'm not going to have time to play it today. As a bloke, I prefer to see a female GP over a male GP. I find female GPs are more understanding and less dismissive. Exactly. Labour doing a bang-up job on wealth tax. There goes another flying pink elephant. Absolutely. Same thing with my mum's family in the Algarve. Now with the immigrant communities, it's getting even more complicated. Yeah. So Larry, I am not imagining that Labour are not doing enough to tackle the tax avoidance and evasion among the wealthy. They're not doing enough. We know this. We know they're not doing enough. They are, So Larry's video today, go watch it. Chris, if you can put another link up for us, please. We did already link it earlier, but yeah, excellent points in that video. I think it was the second video of that, where he's got, 10 properties? They don't want to put in the renters' rights bill because a lot of MPs own property. And we, the ones that rent, are the ones that get fucked over. Mel, I always aim to avoid touristy areas or you never see the real people, town, etc. Absolutely agree with you there, Mel. When I was in Italy, I went to the main sites, obviously, because, I'd not seen them. But what I did for food, for meals, was deliberately go down the side streets and into the little restaurants, and where it was just Italian speaking, that there was no English speaking. And, the food was out of this world. Thank you for putting that up, Chris C. We should return back to post-World War II tax policy and tax the top 10% at 80%. Agree. And we should get rid of the bloody royal family as well. My Danish nurse gives me a hard time, so I'm a bit scared. Watch Gary's Economics. He's begging Labour to come and speak to him about a wealth tax. So they won't, though, will they? They won't, though. You know, Gary's Economics he's good. He is really good. I mean, you know, the guy's wealthy, but he knows what he's on about. That's it. You need somebody who knows what they're on about. It's that fear. It's that fear from Labour because a lot of their donors are the wealthy. You know, so they have that fear now. That fear never used to be there. But politics has changed. And if they don't start taxing the wealthy, they are going to lose. And we need proportional representation anyway. And the Green Party believe in proportional representation. That's what part of one of their policies as well. I think taxing expensive stuff, yachts, houses, works better than just money. Rich people will move their money abroad. Yeah, they do anyway. They already do. I completely avoid tourist areas here and I only visit in the down season. It's like me when I go to Clumber Park, I don't go to the main area where all the tourists go. I go into the foresty bit. Nobody really goes there. And it's, you know, it's so much nicer. Sometimes I go and I don't see anybody. Today when I was running, I didn't see a soul. So nice. Going down Princess Street in Edinburgh in a wheelchair is like Super G with moving pot. Oh my God, I know. And it's cobbled, isn't it, on the pavements? Yeah. Princess Street is a nightmare. And it's like Oxford Street in London. Bloody hell. That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare to walk down when it's a Saturday. Nothing is more annoying than visiting a museum and listening to tourists, especially Americans. My God, those people are loud, even whispering. Yeah, I agree. I like to go to museums and galleries and that when it's off season, you know, when I went to the Sistine Chapel, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But I didn't go with a tour group. I wanted to go on my own, but then there are people in the way. And back then we didn't have mobile phones when I went either. Oh, thank you for popping that up. Is that Gary Economics one? Thank you. I take a side street parallel and cut back out. Yeah, as late as possible. I do not like big crowds either. The witch goth, I am not agoraphobic, but it does bother me and I avoid it. Yeah, I'm slightly agoraphobic. I'm more anxiety driven around people. Old Town is cobble, New Town isn't. You mean Americans actually visit museums? I thought you needed some sort of education to understand the exhibits. I used to love Pretoria Museum in Pretoria. They had an amazing geology section, absolutely amazing geology section. I could have spent hours in there. In fact, I probably did. It was, yeah, I did love visiting Pretoria, all the jacarandas. It is a lovely city, lovely city. Right, so what time are we on? Shall we have a look at the star signs for, oh, no, I'll tell you what, did you see the poll that I put up? So, Larry, I started watching it. I've still got to finish watching it because I was watching the space stuff. So I will finish watching it, though. It is available on YouTube. Yes, it is. It is available. There are a few versions on YouTube, but watch the main BBC one. So I did put up a... I've never been to the British Museum, David, because when I was in London, there just wasn't time. It's one of those things that I'm going to have to go and see, you know, and spend a day, because I'd like to spend a day, and the gallery as well, you know, the museum and the gallery, because I just love those things. I really do. I wasn't sure what kind of racing you meant. So, okay, horse racing. So I've put up a poll about horse racing because during the Grand National, and it's not just the main race, which was yesterday, there are other races. It's a 3-day event. It's at Aintree in Liverpool, and horses are euthanized because they get really badly injured. So I put there, should horse racing be banned? We've got 50% say yes, 10% say no, Only the jump races should be. Band couldn't fit because it's got limited characters, so that's 15%, and not sure saying 25%. I definitely think that the jump races should be banned, but I do think that whipping should be removed from horse racing. And I think that, there needs to be more protection in for horse racing. Another excuse for the wealthy to show off their obscene wealth to the rest of us plebs. Absolutely agree. My concern is the horses. So this is an article from Sports Mole. And I typed in how many horses died during the 2026 Grand National because I wanted to find out. Millions around the world tuned in to watch I Am Maximus win the 2026 Grand National, with the Willie Mullins trained horse becoming a two-time winner. I thought it had won last year as well. The Grand National is a showpiece race at a 3-day festival and has been described as the ultimate test of horse and rider by the Jockey Club. However, there have been a number of casualties throughout the years, with a total of 89 horses dying after entering the race. That includes Celebre d'Allen, who died after collapsing during the 2025 edition of the race. 16 of the 34 horses that started this year's Grand National finished the race. So the other 17, 18 didn't finish. Puy de Bourbon was walked into an ambulance after falling, while Stella Story jockey Robbie Dunn was taken to hospital following a fall. Here, Sports Mole brings the latest update regarding Grand National horse deaths this year. Gold Dancer tragically had to be euthanized moments after winning the William Hill Mildmay Novices Chase, day 2 of the festival. Ridden by Paul Townend, Gold Dancer broke his back on the final fence and was able to finish the race, winning by 4 lengths. On-course veterinarians immediately came to his aid, but the decision was made to euthanize him. Gigging Town's Eddie O'Leary said, unfortunately, he broke his back. He didn't break his back. He didn't break his back. The rider broke his back. And they put him down. Paul said he made one mistake and he felt nothing and he kept going to the line, no problem. No, there was a problem. There was a problem. The horse kept going because he was being whipped. It was just when he pulled up, unfortunately, it was an unbelievable performance. He jumped brilliantly, bar one little mistake. It's a hollow victory now. The poor horse didn't deserve that. Do you see what I mean? The owners of the horses don't care. They don't care. I used to ride, and I rode an ex-race horse. She was called Clarinet, and she was 17 hands high. She was huge. But I'm 6 foot tall, so if I was on a 14 hands high horse, I'd look stupid. She was mental, absolutely mental. Racehorses want to race. That is what they're trained to do. It's in their blood. They want to run fast. Show jumpers want to jump, your Arabs and your smaller horses. They want to do that. The horse is trained to do that, and they love doing it. But being whipped and forced on after a bad jump. Grand National, as for jockeys being allowed to whip the horses, disgusting, inhumane practice. Maybe we should take the riding crop to the jockeys and see. Yeah, because they do. It makes me so angry because you see them, with the wrist, the crops there, and they're just like, and then I can't watch. I can't watch racing. I can't. It pains me to see those horses being whipped. High-speed horses is violent, even in bullfights. Here the horses retired to serve as training animals, breeding, etc. Yeah, I agree with that bit. Chrissy, the glass shards on the riding crops, absolutely. Euthanize my backside is basically a vet taking a bolt gun to the horse's head and firing. It's not as quick as they like to make it out to be. Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice if we could give animals more rights, seeing they can't speak for themselves, just like we have for disabled people. Absolutely agree. Yeah. So, you know, for me, I think the jumping should be stopped, and definitely the height of the jumps at the Grand National. They are just absolutely ridiculously high. So only the tallest horses, you know, get entered into that. And don't forget as well, those horses are so interbred. You know, each one being bred for the highest, you know, tallest. Yeah. They banned whipping here, but undercover telly busted them doing it so much during training that the horse only had to see the whip. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God, David, don't get me started on animal testing. Yeah. I will only buy cosmetics that have not been tested on animals. Unfortunately, when we look at medications that we need, they will have all been tested on animals at some stage. So, yeah. 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Where do we draw the line? As a kid, I used to ride horses. We were taught that the riding crop was to be used to gently correct the horse's behavior by just putting it to the side of the horse's head. We were never told to whip. Yeah, the animals you see in bullfight arena go back to the stables. I like to watch the Forcados, a group of men against a bull trying to dominate it without hurting it. Yeah. I also don't agree with the bull ring, you know. I think that's wrong. I do think that's wrong. It just, yeah. So that was the poll that I put up. That's the reason why I put it up. And I mean, obviously, we all have our own choice as to how we decide to vote on that. The RSPCA has actually been trying to do more work on it. Sorry, I'm just reading the rest of the article here. Get on George became the second fatality at the festival after pulling up in the handicap hurdle on day 3. The 6-year-old lost his action around the bend and was immediately pulled up by the jockey, Jack Tudor, so he could be treated by on-course veterinarians. However, the decision was made to put him down with a statement from Aintree Racecourse reading, Get on George was assessed on course by our expert veterinary team, and it was decided the best course of action for the horse's welfare was for him to be humanely euthanized. Our heartfelt condolences are with connections. An RSPCA statement read, it is incredibly sad to hear of the death of a second horse, 6-year-old Get on George, at this year's Grand National Festival at Aintree. His tragic death is the 43rd competitive horse racing fatality in the UK this year alone. This year alone, and it is only April. And it's the 26th at the Grand National over the last decade. The RSPCA continues to engage with the horse racing industry in the hope of seeing greater safety measures introduced to the sport and meaningful improvements for equine welfare, both on and off the track. Whilst we recognise and welcome the efforts that have been made to improve safety at the Grand National in recent years, sadly, the fatalities on 10th and 11th of April indicate these measures are not yet adequately protecting horses from serious risk. Get on George's fatal injury was a broken joint in his rear left leg. And those sort of injuries are impossible to heal on a joint. I mean, with my Florence, my kitty cat, the little one that was on my knee the other day, you know, she broke her leg, her back leg, one of them. It's a left Yeah, it's her left back leg. And it was broken at the hock, at the joint. And so they tried to repair it. They couldn't repair it. So she had to be amputated. I mean, she's not a horse, so she can manage, she can manage. She's, oh my God, she's so feisty. She is so feisty. So yeah, I just wanted to see what people thought of racing. Animal testing is sadly a necessary evil. However, as long as the animals are treated with dignity and the testing is to benefit humans, I don't have an issue with it. However, cosmetic testing, yeah. See, cosmetic testing, we know is not necessary. We know that because you can buy cosmetics that have not been tested on animals. And those are the products that I use. If you look at Beauty Without Cruelty site, and there's also an Animal Anti-Cruelty League, you can actually see which products have been tested and which ones are not tested on animals, so you know which ones to avoid. But also be aware, and I don't know if this is still the case, Avon, which is one of the biggest selling brands here in the UK, a lot of the products come from Poland. Now, I don't know if the laws changed, but in Poland, they were still allowed to do animal testing on the Avon products. So not necessarily the products themselves, but some of the ingredients that go into the making of the products. So I quit buying Avon as soon as I found out, because yeah, why test on an animal for a new brand of perfume? Yeah, it is mostly pigments and like shampoos, for eyes and that sort of thing. It is unnecessary by now. It is unnecessary by now, person. RSPCA are not bothered these days, Witchy. They're only interested in the low-hanging fruit that they can secure a conviction. My niece did work for the RSPCA. She stopped working, not because of the animals, but because of some of the people that she was working with. But yeah, she loved working there. She absolutely loved working there. She just loved animals. And that's how they got their cat and dog, because she was working there. The dog was a rescue. They rescued puppies from a puppy farm, and he was a rescue. He's a bulldog, and his tail had been docked too short. And obviously he's got all of the issues that, those overbred dogs have, and bless him. But he's looked after. My sister, he's only fed specific food, can't have normal animal food, normal dog food. She wipes around his folds every day, has to wipe his bum because he can't read. Yeah, so he's really looked after and is a happy dog. Yes, we did enjoy your video, the cheese sniffer. Yeah, Aidan Burley, yeah, that owns 10 houses. He also voted against equal scrutiny for wages. Yeah, the perfect deformed party man. Absolutely. Cats can be three-legged and you can hardly tell watching them. I know, Indy, she goes flying. The only thing that she does that I've noticed is she does like a bend it like Beckham curve when she runs. So she sort of curves outwards. I think I only once bet on a Grand National. I think, to be honest, I think it was just because I turned 18 and I could, never bothered me since. Yeah, I don't bet on horses. In fact, I don't gamble. It's not my cup of tea at all. Just isn't my cup of tea. I'd rather pay for a cup of tea. After animal testing, it goes to clinical trials on humans and that take advantage of the poorest in society. Yeah. Avon state they do not test products or ingredients on animals, nor do they ask suppliers to do so. Avon claimed they were one of the first major beauty companies to end animal testing. Yeah. Maybe it's changed, but Body Shop products were the first, I think. I could be wrong. Chris, my producer. So, yeah. So Deform of, not Deform, it was either Body Shop or Lush. Yeah, I think it was Body Shop because Lush is newer than Body Shop. Body Shop was around years ago, and she was, the woman who started it was a member of the Green Party, I think. In the US, the entire population is testing ground since they are free to use any ingredient until someone proves it is bad for people. Yeah, the food that they eat, chlorinated chicken. Yeah. So froggage. Hang on, I'm just trying to find. There we go. Froggage is losing thousands every week after stopping his video messages. So he stopped selling his filmed messages for £71 each on the Cameo website last month. I should do that. Quickly scroll past his ugly mug. Reform leader Farage is losing around £2,692 a week after halting his lucrative video shout-outs. He stopped selling filmed messages for £71 each on the Cameo website last month. The end came after he allegedly recorded clips for questionable individuals and events, which some of you will have seen. Last November, we revealed that the Brexit MP had earned $140,000 from selling personal messages on the US-based platform Cameo in the previous 11 months. $140,000. God, it's sickening. It makes me so sick. And why would anybody want a recorded message from him? Why? His speaking record showed he stood up in Parliament on only 22 occasions over the same period, speaking about grooming gangs, Ukraine, and migrant boat crossings, but he mentioned his constituents in Essex only 3 times. His Cameo page this week stated that 10,700 people were waiting for him to resume creating content. His listing adds, Farage is unavailable. Tap to let them know you're waiting and to get notified when they're back. When users ask for details of a potential return, they must log their email. The site adds Farage's Cameo videos offer fans a unique opportunity to receive personalized messages from the former UK politician, I think they mean UKIP politician and Brexit leader. Customers can request messages for a variety of occasions, from birthdays and retirements to roasts and motivational pep talks. Nigel is often asked to reference his political views on Brexit, immigration, and the Reform UK Party, as well as mention specific TV shows, sports teams, and even silly inside jokes. His videos offer fans an entertaining and light-hearted way to connect with his signature straight-talking, anti-establishment style. That was a quote from the website, anti-establishment. He is the fucking establishment. People are duped. They are duped. And that little laugh he does, that, you know, when he does that laugh that he's lying, that's his tell. That's his tell. Farage pocketed $27,800 after flying to the US earlier last month to address an anti-climate think tank with close ties to Trump. Since his election, he has received almost $1.4 million in payments from outside interests. He had hoped to meet Trump at his Mar-a-Lago complex in Florida to lobby the Trump administration during the week when the US president's relations with Starmer hit rock bottom over the Iran war. The meeting didn't take place, but he still received a large payment. Farage spoke at a Club for Growth. It is a conservative anti-tax lobby group based in Washington, D.C. It has vowed to work closely with Trump and his team. Farage stopped using the personalized video platform Cameo after the investigation into more than 4,300 clips. He had recorded them after joining the platform in April 2021. I will decline to comment on that, he said when asked if he would continue to make Cameo videos. I don't approve of things being published in national newspapers that have been illegally obtained, but you can guarantee that if it was any other party, he'd want it being in the newspapers. The Guardian denied that any of the information had been illegally obtained. Reform UK was approached for a comment. and supporters just lap it up. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't feel any sympathy for him either. Bread has at least 20 different ingredients in America. Oh my God. Mexican products. Yeah. Coca-Cola has better quality. Yeah, the Coca-Cola in South Africa was much better quality than the Coca-Cola here. Also, the Southern Comfort in South Africa, higher alcohol percentage. Froggage is a waste of space. Absolutely. Absolutely. American Fanta, I bet it's like a bright orange. Yeah. For fuck's sake, in the 2023, the Tory government allowed beauty companies to resume animal testing for makeup ingredients despite a 25-year ban. Yeah. I thought it was in breathing that meant he was lying. It was when his mouth's open. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Whilst Farage still has a pulse, he's lying. 5 times Americans use corn syrup in everything. Evening Gothers. Hello, Hugh Janus Crack. Thank you for joining. Love the name. I have seen you on Super Tansky's live feed. I got a personal message read out by the Milkshake Kid. Oh, God. Don't know who said it, but how do you tell a man, politician, whatever lies, their lips move? Yeah. Yeah. I want that Insider Food YouTube channel where UK lists about 14 ingredients before they got to potatoes in KFC. Yeah. Yeah. I'm technically a master baker and bread only has flour, salt, water and yeast. You can add seeds or butter or whatever, but more than that, it's not bread. Yeah. What is the difference between the Vietnam War and the Iran War? Trump had a plan to get out of the Vietnam War. His bone spurs. His alleged bone spurs. So I, before I head off, does anybody remember Foreigner, the band Foreigner? Milkshake Kid is a huge fan of Hugh Janus. Does anybody remember Foreigner? They have got back together for a 50-year tour, and they are touring in Manchester Arena and London Arena on the 18th in Manchester and the 19th of June in London. I know that it's copyrighted, but we're coming to the end of the show, so just play a little bit of this. Huge anus crack. That's Toto. That's Toto that was stuck in Africa. I actually met the vocalist of Toto when I worked in the music industry. Yeah. Not your cup of tea. I do like them. I know. Lou Gramm was really gorgeous when he was younger. Now he doesn't look like that. I saw an interview of him earlier on today. So he is joining them, as are all the other original vocalists, all the other vocalists for the band as well. So it is, you know, if you hold the line, they did I Want to Know What Love Is, Cold as Ice, Waiting for a Girl Like You, that was yesterday. I'm not sure if they did hold the line. They may have done. Google. Toto was hold the line. Toto. The Toto song Africa, it is a very classic South African song that is used to advertise Castle Lager. It's a lager brand in South Africa. It's one of the top lager brands, and it's a South African lager. And it shows in the original advert, David, you may be able to, a video popped up outside a Nine Inch Nail concert recently when I was doom scrolling. Big fan of Trent Reznor. Yeah, I actually did post up quite a lot of videos from Nine Inch Nails. That if you have a look on my feed, there's a whole section of Nine Inch Nails videos. Some of them are copyrighted, so you might not be able to see them. But yeah, I did go see them. I've got my T-shirt somewhere upstairs. In fact, I was looking at it. I was going to wear it, but I wore my Motley Crue one instead the other day. But yeah, I absolutely love Nine Inch Nails. They are Nine Inch Nails, Typo Negative, Combi Christ, Susan the Banshees are probably like, and Bauhaus, four of my favorite sort of goth, although Combi Christ are more industrial. But yeah, well, Nine Inch Nails are as well, but I do love Trent Reznor, absolute genius when it comes to music. His music is used in all sorts of stuff. You know, he writes a lot of music for TV and movies. There was something I was watching the other day. It was on YouTube, and it was using clips from the album Ghosts, which is an instrumental album that he did probably about 15 years ago now, which is like very atmospheric, but it's really good. So he does a lot of stuff. Him and Atticus Ross both, you know, do a lot of stuff for movies and stuff. So yeah, always, if I hear a thing, I think that's Nine Inch Nails, and I'll go and check. Yeah, Nine Inch Nails. It's our Trent. Hi, Phyllis. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. More Northern Soul these days, says Sheffield Steve. Joe, I like the guitar riffs. As a school kid in the 80s, I discovered Venom. Yeah. Venom in League with Satan. That is Venom, isn't it? I'm sure I've got a Venom out. I'm sure I've got Venom on vinyl somewhere. Is it Venom that does In League with Satan? Yeah, it is. I was catching up with some Korn as well the other day, because they're touring as well. And I've seen them before, though, so I'm not going to go see them again. Although I do like them. I do like Jonathan Davis. I think he's brilliant. You know, the new metal stuff. The Ministry rock on, dude. The Ministry are brilliant. Saw them at Bloodstock last year. He was fucked out of his head. Absolutely tripping on God knows what, but he was completely, yeah, they were good. They didn't do Psalm 69 though. I was a bit upset about that they didn't do Psalm 69. Lord of the Lost. They've recently sort of gained their fame, but they've been around for a long time. They are really, really good. Really, really good. He's got an amazing voice. They're an amazing band, brilliant musicians, and friendly. I met them at Bloodstock, and got my picture signed by them. I was in the queue for an hour. I went really early. I need to find a frame to put that in. I went because they were the only band that I wanted to see for signing, and I've got stuff that I've taken with me, but they had that as well. So I was like, oh, so yeah, it was like a dream come true. The guy's always in another world. Absolutely. Yeah, he was very smashed. Yeah. You have to see some of you in the morning when I have to deal with my evil enemy. Okay. Jesus built my hot rod. Yeah, they played that. They did play that. Yeah, he's a freak. He's an absolute freak. An absolute freak. Right, guys, I am going to head off. I did have some other stories, but yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I will live stream again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. for the Misogyny Monday show. However, I'm thinking of just changing it to the So What show, which I used to do before, because there's so many things that I do actually want to talk about other than misogyny, and misogyny gets boring for a lot of people. So I'll stick to my misogyny videos, I think. But I just want to say a massive, humongous thank you to everybody who joined this evening. Really appreciate it. And to all the new people who joined as well. Thank you so, so much. Thank you to my new subs. And thank you to my wonderful, wonderful mods for their wonderful work. Especially, I think, Chrissy, you were on your own tonight, weren't you? Thank you to everybody in chat who was absolutely amazing, and have a wonderful rest of the evening. I need to go and get my dinner now. I'm absolutely bloody starving. Yeah, gonna get you dinner too. Thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, Hugh Janus. Crack. I love that name. Absolutely love that name. That's just the best name I've seen. Best name I've seen. So have a wonderful evening. 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening when I talk another load of bollocks. And yes, blessed be. Mwah. Bye, guys.